Zlurpcast!
Zlurpcast TV is on the air. We've got Biran in the, what do you have on?
It's an anime shirt.
Great. I'm going to skip that. Extreme has Viva La Lucha, Loving the 619, San Diego, and also a move as well. Mike he looks a little different this time. He's got kind of a, oh shit, Mr. Hand thing going on. That's an old reference for Mike. Mr. Bill and Mr. Hand. Cursed City, the newest edition of Warhammer Quest. Is it out, or did you get a pre-release copy, Mike?
Pre-release.
I think it's out Saturday.
For legal reasons, it's pre-release.
Okay. Well, by the time someone's watching this, it just came out.
I think so.
So we have our fingers and toes on the pulse of what people want. I'm thinking about getting this game. I want to see what's inside. How about Zlurpcast? Those guys do an unboxing. Our first one. Maybe there'll be more. We'll have to see what kind of feedback. If we get the thumbs down, we don't do them. We get a thumbs up, we still might not do them. We'll see. So we're going to talk about this game. There will be a Warhammer Quest episode we do where we delve into the dungeon delves of all the different versions. This ain't it. If you came for that, it's not it. But we're going to crack Mike's box open and look inside. What's inside? What? Yeah, Extreme likes it.
What's in the box?
Yeah, inside this Cursed City box, it's a lot of models. $200 retail price, correct?
Yes.
Okay. This is a standalone game. It's got a bunch of characters in it. We're going to get into all that kind of stuff. I believe this is more along the lines of if you really enjoyed Blackstone Fortress in 40K, and where you've got these characters that've got some like bios and stuff about them, you can play them out, play out their stories, see how it all interacts. I'm curious to see, you have this, a classic enemies of the undead, which is always an easy one, right? Whenever you're making a game, who do we fight? Zombies? Skeletons? Sure. Classic way to do that. That allows you to have all kinds of heroes that might come from different walks of life that wouldn't normally be pals. But in this game, we're all fighting the undead. I want to see that clock as well when we get in there. That looks like a pretty cool feature. Looks like we're doing real time. I suggest you play it in real time too. So if you have 24 hours in the game, you need to make the game be 24 hours. That's just a suggestion from me. We'll see how it plays out.
Aside from this, the first one of this new one was what, Silver Tower, and there was one after that, I think, too.
So Silver Tower, Silver Tower came out first.
Yes.
And that was very much to me like, hey, you got into Age of Sigmar, or you want to get into Age of Sigmar. Let's make a game where you can use your stuff in there and kind of get a little bit of nostalgia. Not too much. There's no barbarian with the lantern, but enough to make you feel like you're doing it.
And that one was very Zinchi as the bad guy.
Very Zinchi. People wanted more. They said, I want that, but I want to go back to the old Warhammer Quest. So they came out with Harrenhal? No.
Harrenhal, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's I can think of the name.
And that was a little more probably along the lines of this more so. But what this appears to be, because of the style of it, the dark look to it, the undead look to it, this would be, we'll have to see, but I think it'll be, if you compare the Warhammer Quest games of new, this one would be the hit, the one to get. People are still digging Blackstone Fortress on the 40K side, still available to buy, didn't go anywhere. This will be the same way. I don't think it's going to be a limited release. Might be hard to get now, but it won't be hard to get in 3 months or 6 months.
And Blackstone did a whole bunch of expansions and stuff.
He did too.
Yeah.
I bet you're going to see all that kind of stuff for this too. So Valdric, guide us. If we were ourselves a questing party, you will, by opening the box, you are illuminating the next board section for us to see what we have in store for us. So reveal yourself, Valdric.
All right. So,
good tight fit on the box.
the screen?
Mm-hmm.
Am I on the screen now?
Yep. Oh, hold on. Let me focus. All right.
All right. So
stream. Okay.
we're opening up the box. And I literally took the plastic off this a little while ago. So I do know the hero sprues are in the white plastic.
Oh.
So these are the hero sprues. And you can see these are tight sprues. Okay. There's not a lot of room. I mean, they did a good job designing this. So basically all the heroes are in. Yeah,
it's not a Space Marine Scout sprue.
Yeah, no. And this also implies, at least for now, because in I believe in Blackstone, each hero came with their own sprue, so they had the potential to release them later as their own entities. But for this, it seems like unless they redesign it, make its own other sprue, it's all going to be. This is the only place you're going to get these guys. Yeah. They all look like they're push fit too. You can see here they got the holes.
You mentioned it's white plastic. Is this more like the quality of a box that you get on the shelf, or more like when you get blue or red?
No,
sprues?
this is kind of tannish, but it looks pretty. I mean, I don't know if we can get a focus on there, but I mean, like the fur on this it's sharper than the typical blue and the green stuff.
I don't even know how to. I don't know how to explain it. I don't, but something about the colored plastic, like if you're cutting off mold lines and working, if you're converting, it's a little different. It's still plastic, still way better than resin in my opinion. But this seems like maybe in between that and in between the average Space Marine box set off the shelf, right?
No, I think it's closer to the Space Marine because there's some there's some shoulder pads here. There's some really sharp detail on the shoulder pad, right? I don't know if I can.
No, I see it. It looks good.
I think it's just the color variation because the bad guys are just the regular gray plastic.
Yeah. So this is, anyways, this is, the quality of this is really, really good. Like this guy here is just, I think this is the duelist, his sleeve. It's really crisp. So
I wonder if they're going to release those heroes in a box, like, Heroes of Cursed City, if you just wanted those models for.
Well, they do come with War Scrolls.
Oh, yeah, they do come with War Scrolls. We'll get to that. They do have the main vampire. Oh, what's his name? I'm terrible with names.
Radagast the Brown.
You mean the witch hunter guy?
No, the main bad guy.
Oh, main bad guy. Okay.
The premise of this used to be this big city in the realm of death that was going to be just, it was attacked by some corn worshiper, corn demons. And the only way they could save is they made a deal with the vampire, whose name I'll get in a minute. And they knew it was a bad deal, but it beats being killed by cornates. So, and so now he is running the city, and the people there are basically his meat sacks. And the heroes you're playing are the heroes that are trying to protect and free up the city from this guy's wrath here. And I forgot what his name was. Begins with an R though.
But the main vampire lord.
Who's ultimately killing him is the end of the campaign. So this has a whole campaign system built in, and you are basically trying to power up your heroes and kill off these minions until eventually you kill him off as well. So
there's going to be, I'm guessing, several adventures in between the intro and when you meet him, right?
Oh yeah. There's you don't meet him until your characters are at least level 4, and basically it takes approximately three games to get each level. So you're playing a minimum of 12 games. Most likely you're playing like 18 games.
Okay.
So yeah, so these right here, these are the monster sprues. Again, this is in your classic gray plastic here, but like this is one of the big bad guys. This is another. Again,
what are the monsters? Are they like beastmen or?
They're the, what are they called? They're not beastmen. They're the half vampire, half bat guys.
Okay.
Varngers and whatnot.
Oh yeah. Okay.
They got vampire, and I don't know if they're vampire or zombie ogres in here.
And a lot of skeletons, just straight up skeletons too, I think.
Yeah, these right here are the skeletons and the zombies and whatnot. And these are, again, a lot of people were ripping on the zombies because they were basically bolted or connected to the tombstones. I think they look pretty cool, but.
So are these like what undead players have been asking for years, finally new zombie models?
Yes.
And it only costs $200 to get them.
It only costs $200, yeah.
What a deal.
These will, I bet these come out though.
Yeah, I can't see them not coming out or something very similar to this. So they're again, they're as good or better than like the Warhammer, the Shadespire ones.
Yeah.
You know how those were really good. And these also just look, I think they look amazing. So
these look like relatively two-parters on each one, right? Pretty.
Yeah, they got a front half and a back half, and you kind of, or just snap the head in there.
Yeah.
Wow, obviously you're going to want to glue it, but
I like that a lot. I think if you are an old Hammer player or Undead Age of Sigmar, why would you not want like a shit ton of these sprues?
Exactly. All right. So
I think this, along with a lot of the other games like this, people buy for the models.
It's a lot of money to spend for the model, though.
Yeah, specifically
not like some of the GW games where here, buy this game, which is two Titans fighting, but we know you're just going to buy it for the two.
Right. Or even like Silver Tower was what, $150, so this is quite a step up in price.
Biran, I think it's one of those where it's probably the combination. There's two things. People buy these games, yes, the models, but they also want to have the game just to have it. Now, I bet you the majority of people who buy this game either don't play the game at all because they have a friend doing it, or they just sits on the shelf, but they want to have they don't want the fear of missing out. They want the game. Right. It just came out. They're afraid it won't be around. And the models, I think, are a big part of it because you get a lot. I mean, when you look at the average prices of character models from Warhammer now, it's $30 to $40 a model.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so we got bases.
Okay.
Bases are bases. We don't care about that. This right here, we got the dice pack, and an interesting mechanic, which I assume is the same in Blackstone. You got D6. You got different color D6s. You got white D6s and black D6s. The white D6s you're going to roll. The white D6s for each character, and you start off with 4. And what you're going to do is, so this would be the values of the dice that you get for any particular character. Some of your actions just require a die. Some of your actions require a 4+ or even a 5+, or maybe even a 6+. So this will actually define what you can do with that character. Okay. So like some of the basic attacks are a 1+ or a 2+, movements, just any die, so that's a 1+. But a lot of the characters have a special attack, like the Witch Hunter's got his gun named Judgment. I don't know his name, but I know his gun's name. And that only fires on a 5+. So you could actually spend this to shoot his gun. Spend that 5+ to shoot his gun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to be going on and off mute. There's hail over here now for some reason. Mike, does this have some mechanics that remind you a little of Warcry, like spending dice to do things?
Oh, yeah. Blackstone was the same way. You spend the dice to, and as you get wounded, a neat thing that if you don't know, as you get wounded, you put the wound tokens, I'll show you the cards in a bit, and that actually limits the number of actions you can do. So if you've got 2 wound tokens down, that covers 2 of the 4 squares. That means you can only do 2 actions. So another interesting mechanic they have is when you're going to roll these for each character, and you're going to have 4 characters. You're also going to roll these. Now this will become a community pile that you can do bonus actions with for your characters. So there's a communal aspect to it. However, when you roll it, any doubles, triples, quadruples, or quints, you get rid of. So if this was my roll, these I wouldn't be able to use. So we would only have a 4 and a 2 to be able to use for any of the characters. Okay. If we rolled, let's do another one. Like this right here, that's a crappy one. The 1s and the 2s would disappear. We'd only have a 5 that someone could use at one point in the game.
Who is in charge of picking? I mean, is this like a communal thing where somebody?
It's a communal thing. So it's like whoever goes first, you kind of have dibs on it. But again, you're working together, so you want to make sure you're not wasting it. So it's not like whoever grabs it first. But
I see a lot of infighting in some groups.
But I need that 5 to do this.
Yeah. Now these right here, this is the D12, and this is what's used for deciding what the players are, it's kind of like the AI die to determine what the bad guys are going to do. It also determines a lot of the special events and whatnot. Now these other dice, these are your action dice right here. And there's a D6, a D8, and a D12. And you can see some of the faces are blank. Some have 1s and some have 2s. So the D6s look like they've got 4 blanks. So that's a miss. 1 pip for a hit and 2 pips for a crit. And depending upon what weapons you have, you'll do X amount of damage for a regular hit and X amount of damage for a crit. The D8s look like they have 4 blanks, 2 crits, and 2 hits, so that gets better. And the D12s looks like 1, 2, 3, 3 blanks. I should have looked at this. 4 crits and 5 hits. That math worked out right. I could be wrong on that. But so as you move up in dice, your chances of hitting and wounding get better and better. So it's an interesting little dice mechanic. And whenever you roll, let's say you rolled this, you don't get both of them. You only get the highest. So if you have if you're rolling 2d6, the best you can do is 1 crit. So. But it's always better to roll 2 dice.
It looks like with D6s, D8s, and D12s, I'm guessing they stole the entire concept from Death Path.
Death Path, yeah, definitely, yes.
Okay.
I was thinking that same thing.
Look at this
All
shit.
Right, so I guess next we got the cards. Nope, cards.
Yeah.
And they really, really went out of their way to make every size card imaginable. So,
do they have European and standard in there?
Yes.
Awesome.
So we got a deck here, which I believe is a little big. No, I don't know.
I know one set of them don't fit in standard sleeves.
Yeah, some of them do fit, some don't. So we got whole different kinds of cards in here.
That means it's time to raw dog it.
Good thing I don't sleeve anymore.
Yeah.
I'm over.
You don't wrap that rascal.
You know what? Here's what I found. Alternative sleeving, find clean friends.
All right. Are these okay? So we've got 4 different size cards here. I think, yeah. All right. So these right here, these are going to be used for your initiative. So you can see here, you've got 4 characters, and what you're going to do is you're going to assign a symbol to each one of those 4 characters. Okay. It doesn't matter which is which, just however you can remember it. And then these are used for the activation of the monsters. Oh yeah, that's how that works. So these are used for the activation of the monsters. So this is group 1 because there's 1 symbol. This is group 2 because there's 2 symbols. This is 3 and this is 4. So how this will work is whoever's in charge will take these cards and we'll shuffle them. And let me do a quick shuffle here. And this will determine initiative. So what they'll do is they'll have Like that player would get to go first, then group 3 will go second, then group 1 will go third. Bad guy. Ooh, that's not good. Monster group 2 will go fourth. Ugh. And then 5th, and then 6th, 7th, and 8th. So
do you have any say over initiative, or is it completely random every turn?
It's going to be completely random every turn, but there are rules that you can do a special action to try to, if you get a regular, you can either fail. If you get like the 1 pip, you can jump forward a spot. If you get a crit, you can actually jump wherever you want. I think that's how that works. So you do have the ability, and there's some special abilities as well that allow, you can kind of maneuver the position a little bit, but it is at least initially random.
Okay.
But you know ahead of time who's going to go when. So it's not like you flip a card and you're like, you don't know what the other 7 are. So you know exactly when this player is going to go.
Okay.
So those are the initiative cards. And I guess you can see they're going to get dog-eared pretty quickly. All right. I guess these are quick reference cards. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't read the rules yet. So
yeah,
and
Mike, you're already doing more than I expected. I mean, it's you don't have to go super in depth on all that. But when it comes to what is in the box, what characters are in the box?
All right, let's look at the characters in the box. All right, so something else. So this right here is your campaign. So I can block that light. This is your campaign marker. So what you're going to do, this is a campaign. So it isn't just a one-off game, although I suppose you can play it that way. But this is going to be your campaign marker. So when you're all done playing a game, you'll take whatever, you've got 2 things, fear and influence. So influence, fear is how fearful is the town. Influence is how much influence or how much political sway do the vampires have. And they have little tokens that will tell you how much fear and influence is currently in the city. So if you play the campaign, each scenario, if you win it, will have kind of a positive and a negative on each one of these. So if you win the campaign, the fear might go down, but the influence might go up. If you lose the campaign, they both might, I don't know if they both go up or not, but usually if you win the scenario, I mean, not the campaign, if you win the scenario, usually one of these will go up and one of them will go down. But again, as you continue with the campaign, you have to keep track of this. So what they suggest is you have a Ziploc bag just for this, and you'll put the tokens in of the characters that have been slain already and what the fear and influence is. You could easily mark it down on a piece of paper too, but there's a mechanic for that.
I have to wonder if they got this concept from the social media world we live in with influencers and the people we're afraid of. There's fear and or influence.
The character hasn't been killed. He's been canceled.
Right. You don't get canceled. And you have the influencers. Eventually, the whole town's going to be, buying that product you're talking about. So in this case, though, Mike, that vampire lord is throughout the day is slowly making their way through the city as far as turning people.
Yes. Gaining influence, yes. Okay. And we'll show you some in a bit. So these are 4 of the 8 characters, and I'm reading these upside down. So this is Jensen Derek. He's the witch hunter type.
Derek.
Here, these 4. I got a light here. It's hard to read, but
yeah, that's the model everybody loved when they showed that one early on.
Oh God, yeah, I love a good witch hunter.
It screamed Mordheim.
Yes. So these squares right here on the top, these are the wound markers, and these are where you're going to put your D6s. When you roll for the activations, you put the D6s here. If you have wounds, a wound will go in the first square here, which means you can't put a die there because there's a wound there. So,
but do you still roll 4 dice for that?
What? Yes, you can only have 4 dice.
Discard the one you don't want then.
What? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, no, you'd only roll 3 dice.
Okay.
If you had a win there, you don't get to roll 4 and discard. I didn't even think of that, but yeah. But again, you can do those black dice. You can use those for any character. So even if you are, even if you are have all 4 squares, filled in with wounds, you could still function if you use the black dice, the community pool.
Now your party might say, this guy's going to be dead. Don't waste the blacks on him.
Yeah, you could say that. But if you're playing the campaign, one of the ways to lose the campaign is to have 5 of the 8 characters be dead. So you may not want to.
Okay, so there is very much, I always think back when I think of Warhammer Quest, I always think about, yes, we're a team, but it's sort of every model for themselves in a way too. This really is achieving missions as a whole.
Yeah, and you want to maybe like play these 4 characters the first mission and get some experience, whatnot for them, and then maybe have 2 of the 4 pair up with another 2, and so then they can get some experience. And so you want to, I'm guessing you want to have certain
guys,
yeah. You don't want to have 4 super powered and then 4 scrubs, because if one of them dies, then you got to pull a scrub in, the lower part. So you got to, I'm assuming you want to have it at a fairly constant level here.
Is there recommended levels at, in the, you see a scenario and it tells you where you should be by now?
Yes. Yeah. So you have to have a minimum level for the characters in order to unlock, for the lack of a better term, some of the higher level scenarios.
Okay.
And then I'll show you something kind of cool at the end here. But so like looking at a character card here, it's like Age of Sigmar. You've got move. Okay. Mm-hmm. So this right here, that's your move. 3 is how many squares you can move on a normal move. 4 is how many you can move on a run. So on a move, it's any die. A run is a 3+.
Okay.
So if you have like a 2 here, you can move 3 squares. If you have like a 4 or 5 or even a 3, and you spend that die, you can move 4 squares.
Okay.
Now these right here, these are the other 3 stats, and the little symbol represents, and it's also colored. The square, the white square is the D6, the blue triangle is the D8, and like the hexagon right here, or the pentagon, excuse me, that's the D12. Okay. So again, the higher the D, the die, the better the chance of success.
Just like real life.
So
just like real life, yeah.
How do your dice go up as you level up then?
Well, there's 2 ways you can do this. If you're familiar with Shadespire, what happens is you can become inspired.
There you go.
And you get better stats. Like here, his blade, it hits on a 1+. It does 2. Hits on the D12, which is nice. Does 2, 3. Over here, you're rolling 2d8, which I assume gives you better odds for getting crits and whatnot. And you do 2, 4. So you get a little better damage. You get special abilities change as well.
Tell you what, I see a 1+. That's already OP.
Yeah. Well, that's just any die. It takes any die to hit. So you can always use a die to attack with a basic hit. Now, also on here, you've got cards for armor upgrades. You've got cards for weapon upgrades, and you've got cards for traits. So again, each card, you get these, you can kind of tack them underneath. You can only have 1 of each, which I believe is a change from Blackstone. I think in Blackstone, you can have multiple items, and this, you can only have 1 of each. So you got to kind of pick and choose what you're taking.
I kind of like that anyway, just for ease of
yes, I agree.
Like
having 6 cards by
right. A lot of these games, like especially, GW hasn't really been guilty of it, but the board game companies that do dungeon crawls get a little out of control with the cards. And while I like the idea of cards, it gets messy quick, and now your table that should have been a small dungeon crawl table now has to be a 40K size table because of everyone's card and all their stuff and their stats and their skills. So I like that they're kind of keeping a little more manageable on the table.
Yes, I agree. You still need a big table. Don't get me wrong. Just from what I've seen, you need a big table, but it's still a little more manageable. Anyways, so this is, I'm reading this upside down. Jelson Derek, he's the witch hunter. This here is Imelda Braskoff. She was the old captain of the guard, and so she's trying to basically still protect the humans that are living in the other races living in the city. Most people's favorite is Brutog Corpse Eater. He is the ogre, so we like ogres. I don't know how to pronounce this. Qualthus the Exile. She is a elf.
You know,
whatever the wood elves are called now.
Yeah, whatever the wood elves are called now. She apparently was forbidden by her tribe or whatever to not kill this guy, but she's going to try to do it anyways.
Don't you mean elves?
Elves?
Copyright, yeah.
I will tell you that unfortunately gamers are idiots and they're going to call that one Queethus.
Yes. This is Glario. He's a duelist. He's pissed off. What?
The Italian.
Yeah. He's pissed off because his relatives, when Radagar came in here, they willingly became vampires. So I'm guessing some of the lower level vampires might be his cousins.
Classic Italian move.
Dagny.
Yeah.
Or, Dabney Coleman here. He's the Overlord, or what are they called?
Cardown Overlords.
Yeah. Terrible names. And you actually, your party is actually on, I don't know if it's his ship, but one of their ships. So you get dropped off in one spot, and then when your mission's done, you get picked up. So you basically call in, and that comes down and picks you up. So that's kind of cool.
So his power is he's an Uber driver.
Yes.
Okay.
And he's actually there. He doesn't have any real connection to the city, but he's actually there just because there's gold. Because of course all dwarves are.
That's a stereotype for sure.
Yes.
What are dwarves supposed to be? Like when they way back? Who are they supposed to represent of our current people?
Slavs.
I'm waiting for whoever takes the bait. All right, carry on, Mike.
Okay. Now you got the two magic user people here. This light's getting worse.
That's a cool model.
Oh yeah. Cleona, she's the priest, and Octran is the wizard.
Is that a tongue?
I think it's a beard.
Oh,
but
it looked like a white Gene Simmons-esque tongue.
Yeah, I'm sure people will paint it that way for sure. But, so he is he's the wizard. He's got one of his things is the hollow stare. It's a distance weapon. He basically looks at you sternly and you take damage. So
that sounds like the Grognard character in Death Path, another one.
So he's got laser eyes.
So is this following along the same lines that one thing that GW has done with the Age of Sigmar line in games after is take everything you know about fantasy and just give it a little tweak. This sounds like it's got archetypes, if you will, that we know and love, but each one has a tweak, right?
Yeah.
It's not a normal wizard. It's a wizard with something else, and it's not a normal paladin of sorts. There's another story there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So these are the bad guys, and again, they have 2 power levels: what to have during the day, and then at night. Because we were talking about that clock.
Yeah.
If it gets to night, then they become more powerful.
Okay.
So this is Radagar the Wolf. He's the big bad vampire that you're going to fight at the very end. There's some other characters as well. This is Gorslav the Gravekeeper, and he's got a special ability that lets basically use that shovel and he buries you. And if you trying to block that light, if you get buried, then bad things happen. Obviously, you can actually suffocate underground.
You can put the cards to the left on top of the counters. It might look better.
Yeah. There you go. Can you read? It looks blurry to me, but can you read that? Is that focused?
It's.
I can read the character name.
Okay.
Good enough.
So I like that. That's a common trait amongst the bad guys is the stats getting altered at night. I know that if we were playing, I would make extreme play the bad guys because I've learned from him at Blood Bowl tournaments. He gets more fun at night. During the day, he's kind of blah. At nighttime, though, he's life of the party. So I like that concept in the game.
All right, so they got some smaller vampires here. Vikros, Bloodborne.
Vikros.
Yeah, Vikros.
Greek blood.
More sauce, Vikros. More sauce.
Torgulus, the Chamberlain.
These names all sound like STDs.
I know. Kosargi, the Night Guard. These are the zombie
Townspeople.
ogres. And Ulfwatchen, these are the basically the skeleton of the guards that were there. Night Watch, they got a captain. This is that Varsker.
Oh, they're like vampire bats.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you got the zombies, the corpse rats, and the bats. So they got low level and higher level monsters.
Hey, I'm happy to see bats and rats back in the game.
Oh yeah, and one of like most of the missions, you need to kill X number of character models, and so killing just the regular skeletons and bats doesn't do a whole lot. So, yeah, at least
any viruses from killing the bats. Wonder how timely the game design was.
All right, so now we got let's take the plastic off of this real quick. So in here as well, we've got some fancy artwork. Nobody cares about that. Some errata and how to put
already?
No, for the assembly guide.
Oh wait, still.
Yeah, they screwed up the assembly guide and had to do it errata.
That's hilarious.
All right.
Like, by the makers of Warcry terrain.
All right.
They didn't bother with an errata in that.
No.
So here we've got the rule book and the quest book. So the rule book's got the basic rule mechanics in it, and the quest book has, you know, the quests and whatnot. And there's a really neat mechanic in here where if you can get like these kind of side quests, they're called crises, and you have the ability to basically do a little side quest. And so you look in the so what you'll do, it's kind of like, remember those choose your own adventure kind of things where you get a certain crisis, you roll on it, and it says, okay, go to number 53, and you read 53 and you're given choices A, B, and C. If you want to do A, turn to this page. If you want to go to B, turn to this page. You want to C, go to you can get money, you can get I forgot what they call it in this game. It's basically Warpstone in Mordheim. But you can get some of that, which you can use to upgrade your equipment, or you can get hurt or whatnot.
So this is you get together, you play an adventure, and then we do a crisis together.
No, it's in the middle of the turn.
Oh.
You roll on the beginning of the turn, you roll on what's called the event table, and one of the things is you can have a crisis. So in the middle of the game, one character says, oh, I hear something in this alley or in this manhole or something like that. I'm going to go check this out. So he leaves for a turn, does this side thing while the rest of them are doing their thing, and then he comes back.
Okay.
So I'm assuming, I don't know 100%. I don't remember if they're optional or not, if you can just ignore it and focus on the main thing, but
if there's a couple
has to do it, I don't know.
There's two people doing the main thing we got to do, and this would be like the equivalent of I'm going to go to that other room and grab the treasure chest.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Meanwhile, you're fighting all this, so yeah.
Right. Yeah, somebody else is doing the dirty work. I'm going to get the money and maybe share.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So, and then they have the War Scrolls if you're an Age of Sigmar player. So, and maybe when we do our Age of Sigmar thing, from what I've read online, these guys are mediocre to horrible, but in Age of Sigmar, but who knows?
That's the way it should be, though. I mean, well, let's take it back. I don't mean if you fall in love with these characters and you want to see them just be mediocre on the table, but the way it should be, because they do it in Blackstone Fortress as well. the idea, you're taking them for fluff reasons. Maybe you
Yeah.
painted the model because you like them, whatever. Like if there was any inkling of overpoweredness of these,
It'd be a money grab.
yeah, get them and get them out of here. We don't allow them. So make them mediocre, make it sound like that Age of Sigmar generals are up here and these dudes fighting in the Cursed City are down here. That's fine. I don't care because you're taking them just because you're a fan anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's good.
But it's,
Then they have the
I
assembly guide.
appreciate that they do that though.
I love it.
Perfect.
That should be the this is the way for everything. And you got to have, why would you not have everything intertwined? I mean, dare I say Mantic did it with Mars Attacks. Well, maybe not that one. Sorry, Extreme.
Can I use Negan in Dead Zone?
Sure. I mean, he's only got a bat and everyone else has guns.
This I thought was kind of neat. So this is the assembly guide. And again, this screwed me up with Warcry because Warcry had those different size bases.
Yeah,
they actually have a little guide down here. So if you're unfamiliar, this is your first game ever. This is how big a 25. This is a big a 30 mil, 40, and 50.
That is very smart.
Yes,
Warcry was a nightmare.
Appreciate it because I screwed that up twice. You
It
would
was
think
what,
the
28
first time
to
the Warcry,
25?
I'd be like, oh, because they had that 28 mil base or whatever it was.
You know what's weird is I have no problem if they want to make 28 the new 25, but that's not what they did. It was an in between. So now, and I don't know. I mean, if there's thought into it, as in characters on a 40 all do this, I don't think that ever happens. I think it's just what they think looks best gets assigned.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
But I will say in Warcry, sometimes like you've got like the grunts, and then you've got like the intermediate grunts. The fact it's on a slightly bigger base is the only way I can tell them apart. But
right, that helps. Well, in this game, I mean, you're actually basing them for Age of Sigmar. In this game, it doesn't matter what you base them on, right?
No. Well, I think it does. I think if you're on the 25 mil base, you can get 2 to a square. Whereas if you're on a bigger base, you can't.
You're supposed to put more than one model in a square?
Yeah, if you're the guys in the 25 mils, I think they can go 2 to a square.
Wow, those are big
So
squares.
that would explain being able to walk through your own people then too. Like a big guy can't do it, but a little guy can.
Yeah,
I'm surprised on that.
Something about movement, about if you're.
That's a pretty big deal. That goes against a lot of familiarity with one model, one square.
Another Dead Zone ripoff.
Sons of bitches, man.
You can only have 4 friendly models, but you can also have 4 enemies, but you can't have 5 friendlies. But.
Yep.
And another thing that they do too is again, the assembly instructions are pretty simple, but they also show you what the model looks like, and then a painted version, which I think is also kind of cool. Just sometimes the details, you don't know what it is when you see it painted. It makes it better. So, anyways, the assembly guide's pretty short considering the number of models, but the number of steps.
Yeah, it's usually
simple,
like 2 or 3
unlike
pieces.
some of these current things that are just ridiculous. So I think they went with ease of assembly for basically an intro game. So that's pretty cool. And now we have the bases and and underneath here you got the Ziploc bags, which came with Blackstone as well. So if you're playing in the campaign, when you're all done with a character for a scenario, you put all their cards and all their equipment into the bag.
Yep. That is the way to do it. When I ran Imperial Assaults, I had like a top loader that was bigger than the card. And I said, everyone put all your stuff in each one. That way it's just, you can divvy them out and there's never an issue of who had what. That is, you got to do that at this point.
So like this right here, this is that the clock that you were talking about earlier. Yeah. So you start off this is your this inner ring right here. This, because most of the scenarios you have to do something, get like kill 6 or 10 or whatever named bad guys. So every time you do that, you move this up. This actually, moves your 12 hours of time. This is where you put the black dice that are unused. And then when they get used, they move over into here. So that's always
You
nice.
actually start the game at midnight, or
No, you started at sunlight.
sun?
And then I don't know why this one's dark, but I think it's just artistic choice.
Maybe
but
like-
then as it progresses, the sun, well, maybe you start at dawn.
Well, let's also remember, I mean, we don't live in the cursed city. We don't know how
Yeah.
the rotation there.
So maybe this is dawn, and as you move, the sun gets bigger, and then it gets smaller, and then the moon comes out.
Okay,
So,
that makes sense.
yeah. So again, we've got other tokens as well. These are the wound tokens. You basically got two states of wounds. So you have a regular wound, which is the 1/, and then what's called a grievous wound. As I move my camera.
It's all right.
That's okay.
Still looks fine.
Actually, it's better now because the glare is a little different. But yeah, so like if you take a wound, so you basically don't have 4 hit points, you have 8. Because if you take a wound, it's one thing, and then you flip it over for the grievous wound. So it's basically 2.
Okay.
This thing right here, this bar right here, this is what is used. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is what is used for the initiative. Because remember, you shuffle that deck, and then whatever's in 1 goes first, then 2, and it goes down. And then this up here, you put the cards for monster group 1, 2, 3, and 4 there. As you kill off monsters, you remove them from the board and then put them back on this card. So, and there's some rules because they're undead. Sometimes they can come back. I haven't read the rules, so I don't know how that works yet, but yeah. So these are for basic, not experience. What is that called?
Influence?
Is it glory?
What is it when you inspired? So you need 3 of these to become inspired, so you can flip the card over. So there's a 1 on one side, a 2, and then when you get the third one,
You flip the card.
you can flip the card over.
So everybody inspires the same way?
No, each card, there's different ways in which you can get inspiration points.
Okay.
And you can also use the inspiration points for rerolls. So if you're at 1 and you're going to die, you can spend an inspiration point to actually reroll.
Okay.
Because the heroes, how combat works is monsters just take straight damage. Heroes, they have a stat that you roll a certain size die, and if you get a blank, you take the full damage. If you get a single hit, you can remove 1 point of damage, and if you get the crit, you remove 2 points of damage. So they get a defensive roll, basically. So, and then I think the rest are your tiles. And again, these are good, high-quality cardstock tiles. Some are above ground and rooms and whatnot. Some are undergrounds. And for each, let's get the campaign book here, find it.
Are those double-sided?
Yeah, they're double-sided. Yeah, sorry. Yes,
Right.
they're double-sided. And for each, you're going to draw, there's card sets you're going to draw. So you've got whole sets of maps. Actually, not a whole lot. I guess there's 8. But, oh yeah, these are the hunt maps. So there's different types of scenarios. The first are called hunt scenarios, where you're just basically killing monsters. Okay? And then there's discovery. Oh, scavenged. They're called journeys. Yeah, scavenged ones where you're looking for treasure. So there's different scenarios for that. And then there's decapitation, which are the higher level ones where you can only be at certain levels. You got to be at a certain level of experience to actually do those.
And if not, off with your head?
No, if not, you still stick around to these other ones. So again, it seems like it's a well thought out system. So, but there's enough randomness involved because you have to roll randomly for which scenario you're actually going to do, what map setup you're going to use and whatnot. So
how do you think?
It looks like the maps are big enough where like that's a good gaming session to get through one of those.
Yeah. I think it's gonna take a couple hours, probably a little more.
how are these tiles on the table, Mike? I don't. If you don't want to punch them out, I get it. But do you think it's sliding around, or how does that going to work?
Oh,
I didn't hear you say that again.
No, in Hero Quest, when you were done with the scenario, you were only. Am I breaking up?
Yeah, you didn't answer JP's question.
I'm not sure what you're talking about right now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
My internet was breaking up there. So yeah. Remember in Hero Quest when you finished the scenario, you're only like halfway done with the session because then you had to get back to the city. Right. And I think that they've condensed that down a lot. Because there are some times that when we were playing, it was like 1:30 in the morning. Like, okay, yeah, we're done. Now let's get ready to go home. And then we got to let's take the long way home back to the city. And
yeah. Well, that's when you hope maybe somebody is being a GM and just like, and you found a portal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yay.
Now this thing I think is cool too. This last thing, there's this envelope.
Oh,
and on the back of the envelope, it says,
wow.
Do not open until final assault decapitation journey has been completed.
By the way,
you're not the boss of me.
Not only that, how do you know if your game is missing a component if you don't actually open everything? It's like, hi, Games Workshop customer service. Hi, one of the trolls, if you will. Yeah, I was missing the end game scenario. Oh, I'm sorry, it's been a year. You can't call anymore. It's like, no, the fucking envelope. I couldn't open it.
That's like, I think Gloomhaven has functionality like that. And was that Risk Legacy?
A lot of those games have, I think,
a permanence to them.
That or even like a card pack where the top card will say, don't open until.
Yeah.
Gloomhaven has like a map where you actually fill in stuff on the map as you complete it.
Mike, what I was asking earlier, I don't know if you caught it, but regarding the tiles, I don't know if you feel like punching any out, but do you think they're going to actually like fit together, or is it going to slide, or what?
Oh no, what they have, these little guys right here are doors. So you'll put a door here. Yeah, let's get a black background. So how it would work is, get in there, is you would have a doorway in between the two, like this.
Okay.
So, but sometimes the doors are like that. So it's like 2 squares big as opposed to 1.
You got to play this on a rubber mat.
Yeah, you have to play it on a rubber mat. Because these things are going to slide all over the place.
Especially if the intention is to not have them be, flush and always have a little door in between. I can see this one. That might be the only flaw upon first glance right now is the possible flaw, the idea of, having to clean up a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And don't play with a spaz who's going to bang on the table.
Sure. No, wait, what about dice cups, Biran?
No dice cups allowed. No, you can use a dice cup, but you can't slam it.
That's not how you use dice cups. Just letting you know.
You have to. So like these are like the encounter cards. Can't see.
There you go. That's better.
Yeah. These are the encounter cards, and they've got levels. So depending upon what level the party is at, the encounters get harder and harder.
Okay.
So it has a built-in mechanic for that. So if you do manage, like I said, you got 4 enemy groups. If you kill off one enemy group, then another one will come. So you got to randomly draw what that is and go from there. So
is there any feature, I don't know if you know this because it might be a more rules question, but any feature in the AI of the monsters that if you've got a mixed party with some people at higher or lower levels, will they, tough guys go for the big guy? Like, is there any of that goes on? Or?
You mean?
Like if we're playing and I'm like, oh, I want to bust out. I just got this model. He just came out. He's only level 2. We're on a level 6 scenario. Am I going to get my ass kicked? Or is there a way to have it so, oh, well, looks like only the rats are going after me this time. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, there's a way to do that. You just say, have the rats go after the low level.
No, that's fine if there's someone running that, Biran. But if you're playing this game out of the box and you're trying to stay true to, I don't know, is it flipping cards to see who does what? I don't know if that's a thing in this game.
I don't honestly know. Because I know the AI, it's like you move X number of squares toward, or, you move towards the nearest enemy. The only difference for that is some, like the vampires, have special rules, like they'll go past an unhurt
and try
hero
to
go to a bloody one.
Yeah,
one that's already wounded.
That's good.
So
you would have to
you gotta
protect.
do the thing where where you got to make sure, the old hero quest, where if you really want to level up that character, you let the barbarian do most of the damage.
Go finish him. Yeah.
Let someone else get the XP.
Coup de grace at the end. I would tell the vampire lord that Biran's character is bleeding.
It's that time.
Yeah, it'd be like, you know what? Check the clock, you guys, and avoid me. Go after Biran. Would this game play well with an overlord GM type character?
Well, what they do is they make you elect one person as the leader. And the leader is the person that does runs the villains too. So if you had 5 players, one person would play the bad guys. But if you only had 4 players, the leader is going to also play the villains, the bad guys. So they're the ones that are going to be the GM. Okay,
so the game is set up to, you have 5 players, one will be the GM, but otherwise 4 or less, you are using an AI deck of sorts.
Well, the AI tells you what to do, regardless of, but the leader's the one actually moving the squares and all of that, and rolling the dice for the bad guys.
It's not designed to have a specific GM, because you're just...
No, it kind of really isn't. Because like on each...
But why is there 5 Isn't there only 4 heroes per scenario?
Right, you wouldn't. The only way you'd have 5 players is if you had 5 people show up and you want to give that 5th player something to do.
Oh, okay. He still has to follow the rules, though.
Yeah.
Okay, I get
this right here. This is called the behavior table. So each monster has this. So you roll the D12, and on a 1 to 4, something happens. On a 5 to 8, something happens. On a 9 to 12, something else happens. So
they spelled behavior wrong. That's weird.
Yeah,
I bet they spell color wrong in it too. Also,
I was confused on the word crisis because it looked like a weird word.
Yeah, it did. Like, is that how you spell?
I'm like, I thought we had like a different language copy. Like, oh, the Crusades. Oh,
this is the French Canadian version. It smells like cigarettes.
And they always kind of joke about if you have a player that's really always rolls high, don't have them be the leader, because the leader is the one that rolls in the behavior table, and the higher number, instead of just moving and attacking, they get to re-roll fails and all of that. So
lucky dice.
Well, shit, yeah. Mike, I was assuming when we play this, you're going to be the leader, but you also roll. We'll have Todd do your rolling part.
Yeah. So yeah,
this is there were 6 characters in the box then?
8. There's 8 characters in the box.
8. Okay.
And if you figure if they were to sell these separately at like 35 minimum a pop, $200 isn't that bad, but that's just because how they skewed the market themselves. I'm not giving them credit.
I think the reason why some may scoff at the $200 price tag is if you're going to play this with other people, you don't all need it.
Yeah.
I mean, we all want it because we all want everything. Just that's how we are by nature. But you don't really need it, because if we were playing, one of us would be using their copy. The most we would contribute would be, I painted this model, so I'm going to use that from my set. But otherwise, that's why, I mean, $200 is a lot, but this is supposed to be, I think, a gaming group purchase.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know.
Yeah, and again, there's no real reason for everyone in your gaming group to have this game unless you want to have it. Unless the person who's like, if you're playing at someone's house, they're going to set it up ahead of time.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. If there's a reason for that, kind of that's true. That's probably, and I mean, you showed me the board layouts. I see that's kind of par for the course for any of these games, whether it's this or Descent or Space. There's a tremendous setup time and teardown time that always happens in these games. There's not really anything you can do about that.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's like people like hobbyists out there. Like we have our war gamers and our board gamers and our card gamers. If there's hobbyists that I just play dungeon crawls like this, like you said, Descent, Imperial Assaults, hell, even Kingdom Death Monster. Like this genre could be your thing.
Oh,
because there's so much out there of it.
I think dungeon crawls, I like them a lot. I just always have a problem finding the right people to play with, frankly.
Right.
I mean, dungeon crawls are, to me, some of the most fun games that exist because it's RPG light, so I don't have to spend all night, in the tavern. There's fun combat, there's fun characters, and there's visual aesthetics throughout the game. I love dungeon crawl. It's just, a lot of times people play solo. People play, I'll be the bad guys, you be all the good guys. Because
this is totally a soloable game, and with the AI deck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you could
sometimes finding, you and 3 perfect people to play with isn't the easiest thing as you think. So it sits on the shelf. That's just part of the genre of game. But I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah, if you had fewer players, someone's just playing 2 characters, so you
could see that. Yeah, you're not. They don't bring down the level of the adventure if you have less. You just play with.
You just play it 4 no matter what.
Right, it's 4 no matter what. Because Descent and Imperial Assault do that. They have a thing on the card that says, "Here's when you bring out bad guys." It's different for that. So
I'm looking forward to trying it.
Oh yeah,
cool.
I'm going to be putting it together in the next week or 2, and then
I think I'm going to be doing quite a few of these because I'm putting together the Zombicide Night of the Living Dead version, and I'm getting them all painted up. So
can you set up a camera so I can play from remotely?
You'll do a Zoom call. Yeah. I rolled a 6 again. No, you didn't. Yes, I did.
Move me forward 4 paces. That's pretty cool, Mike. Thanks for busting that all out. Do you feel like, and this is, you don't have to be a biased answer, it could be, do you feel like it's a good value for you at 200 to get all that stuff in there?
If we play it, yes. Because like you, I love a good dungeon crawl, and it seems like after, just always going to be a learning curve and what to do and whatnot. But once you get it down, it seems like it's a simple enough system that the turns will progress along. It has that built-in campaign that's, like I said, you're going to play a minimum of 12 games, but probably end up like 18 before you can actually get to the.
I like that you could say, I'm going to grind a little bit like an old Japanese role-playing game. I'm going to go grind some level up. Get ready.
Yeah, and then, again, you've got 8 characters, and you're going to want to mix and match them with various scenarios and whatnot to help, like you said, grind them up as well. So
is there a recommended, each scenario recommended characters or no?
Not that I know of.
Okay. And I could see a good or bad with that. I kind of, on one hand, I like the idea of it to, so no one regrets, I never built up the dwarf. Now he's got this shitty car and we can't get away fast enough. But on the other hand,
like they have, like, whatever one thinks of a game, they think of, okay, I need a healer, a damage dealer.
Right. I also kind of like the ability. I kind of like when people fuck up and have to adapt later on for said fuck up. Like, it'd be like, oh, you know what? My arm got chopped off in the first adventure. That's my thing for every game now. So I kind of like it if that actually happens. Not that per se, but the idea of, maybe you don't cycle through characters like you should have, and then one day you do pay the price for it. So
I know the characters have keywords, and I'm trying to find in here if it's recommended that you have, certain keywords. Okay. Or
so maybe to have your, like Biran said, your healer and your tank and all that stuff covered.
Yeah, I'm looking for. I'm like I said, I haven't even read this, but
I would imagine after playing a few games, you'll get the gist that, guys, we can't go in with this. We got to have someone that can actually do some damage in there, So I like that there's a nice variety out of the box. That's rare. Usually you get your 4, and then other sets come out, and then finding ways to integrate them later on is difficult because, well, we've already done all this with these. How will it change? So I kind of like that there's enough foresight to say, well, we You're good. There's 8 characters in this party that just know that going into it, and it lets you kind of utilize all those strengths and weaknesses.
And also, if you're like, oh, sorry, you got stuck with the dwarf. No, there's 4 other guys to pick from.
Yeah.
You're not stuck with somebody you don't want to play.
That's true. Although, it could be kind of cool if you did have a large gaming group and it was whoever just showed up that night. So now it's just, man, we could really use the dwarf. He's got like lock picking tools. I know, but Biran had to work tonight, guys.
He's got the character in a Ziploc bag in his car.
Right. What am I do? Crack open a new one? We go without him.
It's $200. I'm not cracking $200 to get just one guy. I would appreciate it.
I could see actually picking this up. I will tell you, I'm already envisioning finding ways to use my 3D dungeon for this instead of the tiles, though. Now, I don't know how that's going to screw with the multiple models. Mike, do you know, I don't know if you have a ruler nearby, how big those tiles are? Not tiles, the squares?
Let's see here. Where's my bases at?
I mean, at first glance, that one is 3 by 3, but I don't think it is.
That's a 50 mil. The 50 mil base.
Millimeter, where are we? The fuck is a millimeter?
We got our independence from the UK. We don't have to use millimeters.
All right. I guess I got to go to the internet. 15.
Well, an inch is 25.4 millimeters. So.
All right, 50 millimeters is just under 2 inches.
Just under 2 inches. So this is a 40 mil base.
Okay.
So
that's about perfect, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So they're 40. Okay. So these are 1.575. Awesome. Always nice to have a weird number there. It's like a Zlurpee rating. Just doesn't work out. So these are. Do you happen to have 228s or 225s nearby, Mike, that you can slide into a? I just want to see how that looks. Because that's the intention, right? Two zombies in a square.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Little overhang. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. And the models, they're not like your classic Age of Sigmar. They don't hang over the base.
They're straight up and down. Yeah.
You can see my shadow here.
And even if the heroes did that, that's fine. It's the bad guys is the concern.
Yeah, the bad guys. Yeah, they seem reasonably decent.
Okay. Well, I've got 32 millimeter on my my 3D terrain, so I would still find a way to make it work.
Oh yeah.
But that's cool. I like that they took a lot of classic Warhammer Quest elements, but they also tried some new shit with the dice mechanics, the somewhat Warcry and Age of Sigmar.
Like they picked and choose like the
yeah. It's got like a little sprinkling of stuff, which I'm sure serves multiple purposes. 1, scratching itches for people. 2, piquing interest in other games for others. Who the hell knows how long Warcry is going to stay around for? So this might kind of end up being the Age of Sigmar other game people play. Yeah, that's cool. I like it.
I do too. I do not have any regrets in getting this. So
no regrets.
No regrets.
Yeah. What models are you looking forward to painting up first, Mike?
The witch hunter, the ogre, and the priest and the wizard.
The priest is the woman with the veil.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that. Cool. That's a good.
And model. Also the captain of the guard, Esmeralda. She it's just a good model, you know.
She's got like a Brienne of Tarth kind of vibe.
Yeah, it really and it's got your kind of. I mean, this is her right there.
Oh, that was her. So when you had that out at the beginning, I actually thought that was the vampire lord at first.
No,
I don't know. I couldn't. That makes a lot more sense. That she's so she is in a sense. She's kind of the de facto leader, barbarian kind of thing, right?
Yeah. This is Radagar.
You know what? A female lead. I'm on board, you guys.
Maybe some sexual tension between Brianna Tarth and Radagar.
Yeah, that's cool. I like it.
Yeah, there's actually because the elf is female, and the priest. Is female. So
I wouldn't want to assume their gender.
Oh, and I'm going to say the ogre is probably pansexual though.
Yeah.
Or what's the one that will fuck anyone? Is that Pan?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm no disrespect to anyone. I'm just still learning. That's all I'm saying. The ogre seems like
he's an ogre, so they'll fuck the Pan too.
That's what I'm saying. Ogre will fuck anything.
They'll fuck a Pan.
A Pan.
Cast iron.
That's cool. Have you guys heard of anything as far as supplements already, or way too early on all that?
I haven't heard anything, but I'm sure.
Yeah, because again, following with Blackstone, they've got all kinds of supplements. I can't imagine them not having supplements for this, especially since this is probably a lead-in to the next.
Yeah, because it's after the scenario.
What if you open
after the scenario's over?
You open it.
What if you open it? It says, "Be sure to drink your Ovaltine."
I was gonna say, open it. It's a 10% off coupon for the next supplement.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be awesome.
But that's it though. Nothing else. Like, you think it's this huge end game scenario, and it's like, great job, adventurers. This fall, use this coupon for 10% off, which is great, but I was hoping for a final adventure. They say he snuck away. Get him in the next dungeon. All right. Well, I like it a lot. You guys all dig it? Extreme, what are your thoughts? You've been quiet.
It looks pretty cool. I think I always leaned more towards a Hero Quest simpler game than Warhammer Quest, but this looks really neat.
Do you think Warhammer Quest is not simple?
I think Hero Quest is simpler.
Okay. And just asking, because I never, outside of ridiculous leveling up, I never found Warhammer Quest, even as you complex. Now, if someone let it get, because it didn't, there was no balance, and there wasn't supposed to be. I don't know what's going to happen with this game. I don't know what happened with the other ones or Blackstone. If the leader chick becomes ridiculously good at level 10, whereas the priest maxed out at some point. I don't know if any of that will happen. I also don't know that I don't really care, because the whole idea is you're supposed to have fun with it, and why is everyone equal anyway?
I do hope the characters are a little better balanced than they were in Warhammer Quest.
Mike, did you play the other quests, the new ones, or no?
No.
Okay, I never did. I kind of regret not trying. Silver Tower, I had zero interest in. It's just visually.
It's too zinchy.
Yeah, not just that. It's just I don't know. We're going to cover this in our Age of Sigmar, but I was already in the I'm not interested in this mode when the time that came out. Now, when Harrenhal or Hammerfall, I believe. Hammerfall, right?
Yeah, I think so.
All those words are the same. There's something with an H. When that came out, I was like, oh shit, this looks like Warhammer Quest.
It did look a lot more Warhammer Quest.
Yeah, I did express interest, but things happen.
The models though were the same. That was because it came with 5 Putrid Blight Kings.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay.
Oh, they didn't do new models for it. Okay.
No, they didn't.
And then you had like a Stormcast as the leader.
Yeah, there was a Stormcast as a leader. The heroes might have been. The heroes might have been unique. I don't remember, but the monsters weren't. And again,
when we do our Age of Sigmar episode, we'll have a special guest that loves Age of Sigmar.
That knows the stuff.
Yeah, knows it. But I want him to sell me on why Stormcast in these games are cool and make sense. Because right now I just don't see it.
The lore is neat. How they keep getting resurrected and get more and more fucked up from it. But I've never seen them actually do anything with that of interest.
That's fine, Biran. But why are they in a dungeon with me though?
Yeah.
It's like in 40K. Why would there be a Space Marine there? There wouldn't, and there isn't in Blackstone Fortress. So, and maybe that's why they went this way. Cursed City seems to, at first glance, going the route of this is in this universe, but it's its own thing. It's David S. Pumpkins. It's his own thing, man. Whereas the other two were not their own thing, maybe.
Yeah, Silver Tower seemed very Age of Sigmar-y with
it did, but then like Mike said, even the other one maybe didn't. Maybe that's why I don't want to say it failed, because I can't. I don't know if it failed or not. But maybe that's why we don't see people playing the other one, the second one today, because we didn't know what path to do. What are we doing? Are we an Age of Sigmar game to use those models, or are we trying to be Warhammer Quest for the old school guys? This one seems like they are trying to do that.
Yeah. and there's a lot of fluff. Like the rule book has like a half page of fluff for each hero.
And
Which
there's novels coming out too.
What?
There's novels coming out.
Yeah, there's books. And I've tried some of the Age of Sigmar books. When they first came out, they weren't that good.
No.
But I don't know. I'm willing to give it another shot just because they seem like they have maps now, and that was always what I hated about Age of Sigmar.
I could never visualize what this place looked like.
Yeah, it's just like it was like a '60s cartoon where you've got the flibbity flabs up here and the gibbers over here, and they just all this fantastical stuff, and it has no real history. It was just words on a page.
I will tell you from a theme standpoint, I like undead things. While I never really played Mordheim for real, I was jealous because, Mike had his group and we weren't in that group. It happened. It was like dad got the kids on the weekends kind of scenario there.
But I do like the lore of the undead, what the vampire counts turned into.
Yeah. Well, you mean Age of Sigmar?
Yeah. What were those guys called?
Lights and the flesh
eater courts.
Yeah.
Where they think they're beautiful, but they're all decayed and gross. That's cool.
I'm waiting for them to actually make miniatures to match that.
Yeah.
So, because they're like, oh yeah, they think this, but here, use these old ghouls that were from. Yeah. And
is that the same as the like the Grim Watch I have for Underworlds? Is that what those are?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I have those, and they're pretty fun. They got a cool little. I mean, it's not much fluff in that game, but it's a cool style of ghoul.
Yeah.
So I think I would get this game. I think there's a lot of models, which is good. Also means a lot of models to paint, which is bad for me. So I would have someone else do that. I'd love a full painted one for $1,000 maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it would not be cheap, I bet.
No.
Yeah.
But the most of the models are undead. So
honestly, what I would do, I would paint all the bad guys and I would buy the heroes from somebody. Is what I would do.
Yeah.
And I bet you popping up, you're going to see on Etsy heroes popping up painted for $100 a piece, and you can pick and choose the ones you want. I bet you'll see that pretty soon. People are already piecing it out to sell.
Yep.
I already saw today a couple of sellers I go to already had. I think they were doing them for $25, $30 a piece, which seems about
right.
Yeah.
Does that seem fair? With what you'd expect on some of these. So here's the Korsagi Night Guard, 2 of them for $35. Imelda Braskov, $25. Octrin Glimskry, $25. Sigmar Radukar the Wolf, $30. So people are already piecing them out there online, which that could be kind of cool. Again, going to the scenario of your group gets this, but you want to paint up a couple of your own. That might be the way to go. Any other questions or things we should cover?
Like I said, I haven't read the rules, so I can't get much
Extreme,
more than that.
If I snap my fingers, Extreme, and I gave you like 3 killer dudes to play with, or
better than us, even.
Yes, I said killer. Would you get all over this, or would you still probably say not for me?
With 3 cool people to play, I would definitely play it, give it a try. I think there's other dungeon crawl games I would rather play, but this one looks fun, and I would be into it.
Biran, switch back to gallery, by the way.
It is gallery. I did once Mike's face came back up.
I still see Mike as the main.
Well, it only matters what I see.
Oh, okay, fine then. I just changed mine. Yeah, I think it looks cool. I'm Biran, you and if you don't want to get into it, that's fine. But you, not normally a hobo,
right?
But when asked, you jumped at it. You said, "I'm in," and I'm definitely going to get one. You've reconsidered. Why?
I've been buying a lot more comics lately, and that's been taking up a lot of my free money. And I knew Mike was going to get it, and I knew that just like Silver Tower, it would sit on the shelf, especially if we were playing it. And I'm just, Mike's got it. We're going to show up and play there.
Okay. That's true.
And it's summer, so I'm going to be riding my motorcycle more, so I can't really pack this into the motorcycle.
Yeah, nice humble brag. I like
That's
that.
right.
Mike's probably going to run the game too, right?
Like everything.
Yeah.
He's the smartest.
Well, yeah, unless Tony gets it, and then
that's true.
Tony has Blackstone, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has all the expansions.
You know, I kind of wish I played that when I was. Well, was that out when I was there? I don't even know. But
it came out in the early-ish new Kill Team days because they added the rules for the Kill Team stuff.
I bought a good amount of those models that I've been using in 40K and Stargrave. They're just great character models. So I would like to play. I mean, maybe one day play Stargrave or
Blackstone.
Blackstone. Yeah, they're all the names. It's like the old James Bond movie thing where here's 10 words and just pick 3 of them at random and then put them together and that's your movie title.
Octopussy dies twice. Got it.
Right. Yeah. Kill, die, life, live. They're all in
Eat, Pray, Love.
All these games have that grim, dark, and they're all just this is a pretty cool game. I think I would give it a try. I hope you guys get to play it. And then when we do our Warhammer Quest review episode, I would love to see how this one compares to the old Warhammer Quest. So, very cool. All right. Well, we will wrap this up. Thanks for checking out this unboxing, the first one we've ever done. Thank you to Valdric for shelling out the shekels to pick this one up.
Thank you to Grognard Games for not supplying it to us so we can still swear.
Yeah, still swear. You can buy it at Grognard Games, but there's no we were supplied with this game, so we have to disclaimer. That doesn't happen. He bought it and we talked about it. How about
if GW did supply us with this game, each a copy, I would say it was the best game ever because that's the price of my soul. A $200 box game.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
If you want a shirt like Valdric is wearing, you could pick one of those up with the Death Path characters there at Zlurpcast.net. It's $23 or so, and we get 3 of that. So it pays for, the hosting and this and that if you want to do that. And you can show how cool you are. One day you will go to a con again, and you want to be like,
hey, guys.
Yeah.
People were getting selfies with us.
Yeah, right. You want selfies and all that kind of stuff. You can do that. You get Zlurpcast masks. You get a SMAT shirt or a SMAT bath mat. Looks pretty badass as well. Join the Zlurp Nation as well. There's a link down in the description and you get bonus videos. 5-10 minutes each talking about burritos and soup and all kinds of fun things. Other than that, it's time to say our goodbyes. And I think we'll do a game review episode next because we're due.
Yeah.
It's the question of what. And if this was Doctor Who, I would say when. And if this was Inspector Spacetime, I'd say also when.
Does Anthony Sarlo play a character in that too?
I don't know. I don't even know anything about Doctor. I know Community when they used to make fun of him and Kick Puncher and all these characters. That's all I know about it. All right. Bye, everyone.
Zlurpcast! Brought to you by Nuffles. Bet you can't just roll a one.